what they can make do, of course, in this UK Masters Spring 2017 Grand Finale, as I think we're about to kick things off.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is not only the first time we've actually seen Radix at a final at a UK event, in terms of the org, but the first time they have actually made their way through to a UK Masters final, obviously. Yeah. So that's quite interesting for you there. I think at most they have come to a semis, which was at an Epic LAN a little while ago.
Epic LAN, right?
Yeah, that was with a similar mix, but quite a few different players, because obviously we had the XL mix that was there with Mighty Max and co. So not like this, but we are jumping in. The sides have been decided. Let's see how this will actually boil down.
Well, what we do know is that Radix, they won the 9th round. They selected CT side. So we're going to see how that does play into things. Of course, team names, somewhat a bit of a mixed bag at this point, but they're going to work themselves out in just a second, as we are going to be kicking things off with Smooya taking that fight with the USB, looking for that longer range shot if the push does come in, as it is currently this T side all just very bulged up, ready to hit towards this B side.
Yeah, they've got utility to work with. Only thing is Jenko is there. So basically the idea is with Jenko, he just hides behind the barrel. He's playing anti-flash, so he has Mole peeking as well. So if they push him towards the site, he can try and stay low until they push past him, then peek up and at least do some damage. Try and get maybe 2 frags on the board, but it's a very slow contact play coming out from the side of FM. They will just be tiptoeing their way through. Flubble flashbang over Monster. The smokes go in from Weber and co, then they burst their way out to the side. But let's see if they can pick this one open.
Robo taps off a shot. Jenko going to be so patient. He waits, he starts shooting, lands a few, but it doesn't quite pull through. In the end, it is going to be a quick 2-for-2 trade as Pulse and Fry will fall in the process. Keita looking for another shot here and there. Stanley going to get the bomb down during that smoke mole, trying to go for this quick response. But Keita's got to be closer. This delays things now for FM as they have to wait another tap to come through, but no shot to connect. Looking for Nilzinho. Finally gets it out through the other side of things, but Radix, they've got time to play with it.
So much time to work with. The frags should be going their way at this point. Both players on the side of FM are very low, but Weber, the man with so much experience doing damage, taps through the smoke. Keita is low, but will barely squeeze it out. He's also going to go down there, unfortunate for him, but we will see the first round go in the way of Radix. Smooya as well, screaming away on the stage as he gets himself a little bit pumped up. The bar will be coming through as well now. Most likely a fairly heavy investment over into those UMPs as they're just so effective. Smooya will go for the full save as he wants to get the AWP out as quick as possible. Meanwhile, FM on the T side, they have to do something fast. It's going to be more of a shock and awe style play. They can't really invest that heavily into anything here, so they're just going to go for these upgraded pistols and burst their way out towards the A site, where Smooya is residing.
Flash is going to go off. The peak is going to be taking the UMP, looking to just pretty much melt down his opposition, make some sweet dollar as well, bear in mind. That's what you want from these SMGs, as mentioned. As Fry is going to try and rally the troops somewhat with this P250, but unfortunately that play, it falls short. Mole is just going to eat them alive. A double kill for him, make that a triple. He looks for a sweet fourth. Nilzinho potentially going to serve himself up on a silver platter as he gets knocked down to just 11 HP.
Not too much coming with this round for the T's. Obviously, the best case scenario is they do damage to the economy of Radix by killing them, forcing those casualties out, so they have to rebind to the following one, or at least getting that bomb plant down. Weber might do some damage here, though. Peeks out, does locate the position of Smooya. Can't just go for these pre-fires, just tapping, hoping to eliminate him, but it will not go that way. That is going to be Radix, as you'd assume, claiming that second round, and most likely propelling their way through to grab that third, if FM can't bite back now. As the bomb plants they went for will allow them to get this buyout a little bit earlier, but the thing is, their utility actually isn't that fantastic. They've only got 2 smokes, one on Weber and Stanley. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw them take more aggression towards that A site, just focus up towards toilets, as they can't really go for a smoke strap. Oh, they are working towards B, though, it seems.
Yeah, the only other thing we can expect here if they don't go towards A is just a quick push right through Monster on towards that B site, because it's an angle where you can just throw a flash and try and make it work. And it really like passes the baton over towards Radix and says, okay, how are you going to use your utility? Are you going to use the Molotovs that you've got in play? Bear in mind, Smooya and Keita both have them. We did just see one get thrown, but it hasn't really changed too much in the grand scheme of things. Smooya starts to let rip with that UMP, just dancing around the smoke, but unfortunately it takes 2 to tango, and Fry isn't willing to respond.
Doesn't want to dance today. He's left his tap shoes at home, unfortunately. We also see the T's reposition as well now as they start to back off. Try and link over towards connectors. They have a lot of information. Weber has left the bomb quite far back, thus it has been seen. They're just waiting this one out. Radix, they're pushing up a little bit actually close. They're just holding these crossfires over towards Monster. Roma will flash, and then Keita can peek if they hear some audio cues of the teams potentially pushing their way in. The first frag will actually go the way of Stanley, though. Nice boost in play. Stanley keeps it going as well. Nice headshot comes from Jenko with the response. An easy double kills. He just tears his way through everyone. A hailstorm of bullets coming out from him now as we fall back into a 3 versus 3 silence for a moment as FM needs to try and recalibrate.
This is going to be a deafening play for them. They line up, they allow it to happen just off the back of positioning alone. And that is a wrench in the works now for this FM side. As you mentioned, they're going to try and jiggle the way out of things, look to hit towards that B site. Jenko is all alone, bear in mind, just 12 HP is all that he's made of. But when this push comes in, it gives away information. More utilities being popped. The rotates are coming in thick and fast. Smooya has arrived. He's looking to be the man to do it all here as he starts to fire off just a few, but decides to fall back. This leaves Jenko all alone yet again. He's going to fall here. This is an easy pick. Nilzinho and Fry both combine 2 picks for FM eSports, and a round pretty much done and dusted as Mole will fall on short.
Unfortunate there, as he will go down very awkward towards the end. They want to just try and save something, but they will attempt to contest as they know they have money into the following round. Obviously, good play from FM as well. They don't allow Radix to get the full 3 rounds off the back of the pistol win. Smooth as well. Cash isn't actually that fantastic because he went for the UMP buy, and now because they've lost that round, he can't go for an alt buy into this round. He has to just stick with once again another rifle. Not to say he isn't proficient with the weapon, just not really the thing he is known for. Now then, they will go a little bit aggressive. You can see once again, he just spots towards mid early, tries to get that information play. As the rest of the teams are going to be taking their put towards that B bomb site though. Just sitting out by water. If we see that boost come into play here as well, this could be very effective, as Stanley could actually find a couple of frags in towards the site.
Instead, though, they're taking a fight in towards Connector, trying just to see if they can find anything up against the likes of Smooth. Roma as well could do a bit of push and shove on towards short. Right now, nothing really is coming in. Up until Nilzino actually decides, you know what, I'm there to do the damage, I'm there to find that pick. And that's a man advantage on the board for this T-side. They do take a lot off the back of that, though. Just look at Stanley, Weber, and Fry. It's almost just a totem pole as they all just knock down bit by bit, in order practically.
Position coming around from Keita. He will spam his way through the small bit of thin plywood, hoping to get a frag through the other side. A little bit of a lucky one, but it is not going to go his way. Nilzino will kick it off, though, as he finds the frag back on towards Mole, whacks him down. And the CTs are forced to rotate back towards this A bomb site now as well, because they are scared. They're not quite sure if it will be a commit from Nilzino and the rest of the team, but the smokes come in. They now are aware that it is going to be a straight B play. Roma, sick headshot as he strikes down Stanley. Hungry for more. Roma with the hat-trick, tears his way through everyone. Pulse, though, elevated angle, smacks down the Padawan as he had the high ground. And that is going to be another round going the way of FM. Very dominant stuff. The economy of Radix is broken now as well. They can't invest that heavily into this following round. They have to stick with these measly pistols. And this will spell FM most likely getting their 3rd round.
Just such a crafty play coming in from Pulse there. He just looks at Roma, looks him dead set in the eyes and says, you know what, you can do that, but I can do one better. I can come up with the double kill, the impact kill. And that is going to be huge. It does equalize things 2 for 2 after all. Things are getting a little bit loud and heated up in here. But for now, it's also going to get fairly peaceful at the same time, as it is just these pistols, these 5.7s, these P250s, all going to have a bit of a tap and see if they can pull through something in this round.
Yeah, going to try and burst the sound barrier as they push their way through. Let's see if that is going to unfold, though. Nilzino kicks it off, will find the opening headshot on towards Smooya as he does take him down. Jenko as well retaliating with that USP. So he goes 1 for 1 and will trade back. Looking kind of awkward, though, as they have taken complete control of the B bomb site. They've been able to secure it, and they will lock this down, you would imagine, as the CTs shouldn't be able to really retake at this rate. They will try and slip their way back through, but Pulse does a little bit of damage, knocking Roma down to 2 HP. They're just holding crossfires right now to hope that when FM exit, they don't exit together and they can find some lucky frags. Just like this, Stanley looks so confused about what was going on. A Mole will actually be able to take him down with that pistol. This is good. Look, they're scavenging a couple of weapons here. They've also forced out 2 casualties on the side of FM. This could come back to hinder them in the later rounds.
Jenko going to look to try and take that fight yet again. Starts to bat away on through, takes down Fryer, looks through for more as he double dips on towards shot. Pulse so low, but 14 HP allows him to still stand. Keita looking to pull it through yet again. Weber going to just take him down, and more comes in for FM. They're taking some damage. It still is going to be that round, of course, but Radix were able to achieve so much there.
Yeah, very nicely done as we work our way back through. Obviously, I mean, the thing is, it's going to be interesting to see what they actually bring to the table into the following round. Nilzino goes for the AWP buy as well. Now, this is kind of his prime time position to be in. He is the in-game leader, but he's very supportive. More so like that Smith's role, like you see over on, well, G2 before he actually departed from the scene and now took up that coach role. But you see a lot of that. It's quite slow, methodical, contact style of play with the AWP, where he'll be holding back and getting those frags. Now let's see if we can actually find any openers for the side of FM into this one. As they stick together, they are going to try and take control of Connector. Only one player deviating from the pact, and that is going to be Pulse. Someone that single-handedly could do some damage here if he finds this frag over on towards Smooth. Nilzino comes to support him as well. Now just clearing these angles slowly but surely. FM, no, they have to play this one smart.
In terms of solo players as well, you do have to kind of draw yourself over towards the eyes of Weber, as he was playing in towards the alley, just looking down, basically trying to cover off Monster to make sure that if any push does come in from Radix, he's there to catch that one and put the ball right in the back of the net for him. Wants that early pick, of course, this T-side do, as they are still standing in this default. Going to put a little bit more presence up through the tips of Connector, which means only one thing. It's about to find itself a little bit more under pressure now. Smooya, smoke does somewhat act as a bit of a shroud for him, but that only lasts so long. Eventually, FM, they're going to be here to play. They're going to be hungry for that pick, and Smooth's got to do something about it.
So yeah, let's see how this one will unfold as we work our way back through. Obviously, Nilzinho now is going to try and take that fight towards long with the rest of his teammates. They pick at the same time to have the advantage, the overwhelming force, if there would have been a player on the side of Radix spotting it. Keita is just going for the jump face, so it does make things a little bit harder, obviously. If Nilzinho did peek with the AWP, much like this, you can find the headshot, and he will take him down, instantly executes him. But this does mean Radix are aware of what is going on. They can try and rotate their players over, but let's see if they'll be able to aid Smooya in time. He gets spotted out by Weber, and he will find the frag as well. Dispatches him, leaving just 3 players on the side of Radix, and they realize it's probably better to just save in this round. No point attempting to retake this. It's going to be far too hard, as they will just back off. No point throwing those weapons away into the wind, as they're not going to have too much to play with into the following round.
Well, just struggling to jump, trying to work out where that space bar is. Eventually will pull through and get it up, though, as he does get himself just up further and further closer for a bit more contact. But as you mentioned, there's nothing they can really do here, so it is going to be the long play that has to come in. FM starting to inch out these rounds. Now, Jackie, in terms of the kind of longevity of this matchup, FM getting this much done on their T side, already doubling up against Radix, how are things looking? Give me a quick picture right now.
I mean, it's hard to spell, right, as well, obviously, because Radix were able to get those first 2 rounds on the board. But because we saw the reset come through from FM, that's where it makes it kind of hard to benchmark and actually judge how things are going. Because Radix haven't had the best economy. We've not even seen the AWP out on Smooya once, but now finally the weapon has been purchased. Roma has done the honourable. Bought it up, passed it over to Smooya. This is where things are going to get serious. This is where they're going to start to bring the ruckus and get very loud and annoying.
We want to see this happen, though, right? We want to see what Smooya can achieve. We want to see how the rest of the team are going to slot in around that. Where is he going? Where is this mystery man playing? Well, the answer is over on towards Alon. Gets himself somewhat in towards a bit of an interesting situation. Tries to kind of jump around on the boxes, but instead sits tight, just holds the angle, waiting to see if anyone is going to rear their head. And Faith Impulse, kind of tearing around the edge of the corner, has got the bomb on his back, though, so arguably he's got to be very, very careful, which is why the team are grouping up. The shot will be missed, and 3 players begin their advantage up towards long.
Trying to take that fight as they slowly encroach their way through. The thing is, though, they are going to need to dispatch the beast in Smooya very soon. They need to get a leash on him, or he will start to strike back and really do a lot of damage. He can bite very, very strongly. And they will slowly take their time, though, tiptoeing up. Flashbang goes over to try and allow them to get a little bit more map control. Weber as well, the late round lurk. This is going to be huge. He can really try and toy with them here. Roma is on the scene, and this man can cause a stir single-handedly. Let's see who will win out in this matchup. Well, they do peek out at the same time. Flashbang comes over. Great teamwork on display there for Radix. They will take down Weber. But this could plant a seed out in their minds. They might expect that this is going to be a play towards the B-bomb site, when in reality, it's going to be a fast A here.
It's all a ruse at this point. Are they going to fall for it, though? Hook, line, and sinker as we wait for that response to come in. Mold firing off just a few shots, trying to see if he can find something through that smoke. But he has no idea at this point. He's just waiting yet again for FM to rear their head. Smooya holding right through the cracks of Transformer. It's just a slow, patient start, and finally they take that fight towards long. Stanley is there to find the headshot on towards Smooya, looking for a little bit more, hungry for Pulse's head as he will find that flick with the AWP. But with 20 seconds left, FM are cutting this one so close.
Really down to the wire stuff here. Obviously, Smooya repositioning, attempting to work this one out with the rest of his teammates in the retake. Fry will take the fight towards him, actually. Nice Molotov usage as well. This does force him back, so he has to try and link up with the rest of his teammates. Stanley and co have these crossfire setups, so when the CTs do push back into the site to try and retake, they should be able to at least get the drain. The ball. Roma comes through first, and he will go down first. There's the response as well, though, from Keita, as he finds the headshot back on towards Stanley. Unfortunately, Keita does one better as well. Will execute Fry, and it's all on Nilzinho, the in-game leader. The bomb's not down in a good location. Struggling to find the opening frag. He needs to push now as Keita's going to defuse it in the nick of time, though. Keita will get the defuse. And unfortunately, Radix keep it going.
Credit where credit is due. He does get the picks, but he didn't know about the defuse. He didn't get that sound cue. It wasn't even planted for him. And at the end of the day, what does that translate to? Well, disaster strikes. It's not around for them. It goes the way of Radix, 3 for 4. They are looking to really try and make this one stick now. We'll get to see that AWP still in action, of course. Is in the arms of Mulder. I like this, actually. I'm a fan. I think Smooya has shown that he can be just as much of an incredible AWPer as he can be a rifler.
It's true. And I mean, more so, sometimes it works out better if you want to go a little bit more aggressive in a comfortable manner. Mole as well, more of a passive style AWPer, so he just situates himself over towards It's not really pushing, not really poking, trying to get those opening frags early. He's just going to be holding by. We can see Fry is going to rotate over, though, as he will come in with a backstab, finds the opening kill there upon Smooya. The flashbangs go through as well. Now, this is huge, but are they going to be aware of that location of Mole? If they suspect that there isn't AWP in play because Smooya didn't have it, that could be the downside. Great utility usage there, though. Look how low Mole is. They're not going to allow him to get through. They heard those audio cues, and they just spam into the smoke and do take him down.
Yet again, it's the brains kicking in, the IQ really coming into play, able to find just another pick, really cements their lead in this round. The 8th that Jenko is going to worm himself in towards water, looking to really hold that headshot angle, but he's completely blind. He has no idea what's coming. He will find one, but an instantaneous trade coming in from Pulse as he pulls through the other side. Roma, feeling his shoes swing on towards shot, will find that trade, but he's got more to achieve here. Stanley just looking to make this one harder and harder by the second as this T-side come up trumps. A 3-1 situation. FM right now looking to get themselves just another round on the board, their 5th. It's going to be so good for them too. Really gives them control of Radix's economy.
Yeah, let's see how this will affect things as we work our way back through. Obviously now Keita, he's in position to try and deal with this, to try and at least ward them off as they push their way through. Nilzinho will be dropped first, tears his way through him with a hailstorm of bullets coming out the end of his rifle. Peeks for the second frag, but Weber is too quick. Wicked stuff on display as he will be able to pick him off.
Does the job at the end of the day, but look at Radix right now, Jackie. They've got nothing left. They're out on the streets, it's all gone wrong. They're scrambling around looking for the scraps at the bottom of the floor, saying, give me something to fight for, something to live for. Because they've got these 5.7s, they've got these CZs. It's looking rough, but they're going to scramble around on the streets of overpass. They're going to try and find these angles, find those picks to make this round something worth fighting.
Yeah, they can at least get something under their belts to try and aid them into the following rounds. As the push will come in towards that B-bomb site once again, it's a classic hit, but it should be so much easier as well because they just have that range advantage. These pistols up close and personal though could definitely pack a punch if they catch the opposition off guard, but it won't go down like that. Pulse and Fry, the little dynamic duo, find that 1-2 punch as they start to pick off everyone on the scene. Stanley as well, follow-up frag going the way of Smooya. It's just Molten Kitty to try and retaliate.
Bomb as well going to go down, really just adding into the pot that right now is FM. They are well and truly in control of the situation. A frag grenade on towards short, and this Tech-9 is just the cherry on top. Sure, it is a trade coming from Mole, and a few shots will be missed, but it's just one pick for the CT side. In other words, FM, they don't care. Let's be blunt here. FM, they're 6-3 up. They don't mind losing one man because their economy really is starting to build itself up. You can look at Weber and go, he's only got 2,600 in the bank, but he's not the player you want to be looking at. What you want to be looking at is the likes of Stanley, and just how many players they've been able to save in certain of these rounds.
Yeah, it's true. This is the thing. That's why they've taken a little bit of a hit in terms of their cash, is because of that. There's been a few rounds where they got completely wiped out or were down to one man, which is a little bit awkward for them. Obviously, Nilzinho back on the AWP though. Good to see because he can create the more openers. They can play a little bit more dynamic when Niled actually has the AWP in his hands. It plays more to a lot of their actual playstyles as well with their playbook. They like to play a lot more slow, and now Nil to try and do something or at least get the openers. He's very consistent in trying to find them a little crack they can slip through.
Flash is going to find its way into the arms of Weber, and that's going to launch himself further out on towards short as he does look to give himself an opportunity to begin his run, but it gets beat from Connector. This completely just messes up this entire push. Stanley will pull through though and force the issue. Fry and Pulse both combining, and this is looking better and better by the second. These pistols just back to their old faithful. Tap, tap, tap. Try and find yourself that headshot. Try and catch them by surprise. But FM, they're aware of their own surroundings, should we say. They're aware of what is ongoing, and they will get themselves 7-3 up in this matchup.
Good situation to be in early, obviously. We did expect the Radix might have a bit of a resurgence. We expected them to have a fair fight, but you've always got to give it to FM in terms of star points, especially on that T side. They have a lot more strategy. This is where I'm worried as well, because Radix, they could actually stumble quite heavily on their T half. We've seen it in the past where they have struggled to actually get a couple of rounds on the board, and if that does happen, I mean, God help Radix at that point. Molotov will come over on the back of Weber, though. Very smart. I mean, even if he doesn't go for the B play early, just goes in for the late round lurk as a backstab, they're thinking that it could be a B play. Because of how far you lob that from, it really does distract and toy with your opposition.
It's alright just playing the mental games at this point. Think about it. The more Radix have to sit there and think, the harder things get. FM, they've had a few little stumbles here and there, but they've always been able to recover from them. Even against the pistols there, we saw a flash and such get kind of always someone arrives with the connector peak, be somewhat well crafted. But this is the difference between the two teams. FM, they recover. Meanwhile, Radix, they limp away from things. They've got to do something on their CT side because there's always that fear that 3 rounds, that doesn't save you. Get to 5, however, then you have enough to play going into the second half. But right now, if they just sit perched on 3 and can't move forward, then FM, they could shut this one down in this first half.
It's true. Stanley as well. He's been playing so sublime. Another frag will go his way, but Smooya can retaliate upon towards Pulse. This is good as it leaves them in the 4 versus 4, a manageable situation. Mole tries to make it a tidbit easier for them. Flashbang goes over so he can peek once again, spot someone out, but it's just Stanley, and he is on a complete roll right now. It is going to be Jenko to try and slow him down. The only man you really imagine could try and contest. Very awkward for Smooya and Fry here. In the end, it will go the way of Smooya, but Weber with the trade leaves them in a 2 versus 2. This round is so tight, so close.
Expects that second player to be in the exact same spot.
Good mind game on display here. Weber, ooh, the close fit comes over, but Weber always too strong, will take him down, grabs that AWP as well, going to save that into the following round from the side of FM. And Radix, they're looking pretty busted right now. I mean, it's a lot like a rundown fairground, Flakes. There's just not a lot to go on.
Yeah, it's just all pretty much fade away. A few lights flickering here and there. You can hear the old dreary sound of a broken jukebox, but that's all but it. There is no song, there is no party going on. Radix, they got to start singing out there. They need to whip out those firecrackers and actually show us what they're made of, as this first map is looking very, very sour. 3-8, back on the pistols, the Mag 7 and play on towards Roma. Fair play today, guys. That was a nasty flick, or should I say nearly, because he still didn't get the pick. But prowess, what he's showing, doesn't matter. Stanley still going to mow in towards his B site. It's just frags, it's just aim bots right now for FM. As this B site with pistols, it's not going to be held.
No, they really can't do too much, obviously, right now. Just trying to play more of a contact style. Peeking one by one, though. They can't trade efficiently, and they're just getting torn to shreds. Stanley will survive on 1 HP as well, which is huge, because it means they get through this round with a flawless round. Actually, well, Pulse goes down, so it completely ruins that thing. Mole will somehow be able to overpower him there, even with P250 from a ludicrous range. But still, 4 players going through into the following round, nearly wiping out the entire side of Radix. They're going to have a lot of money to play with. They're going to be pretty healthy. I mean, they've got so much of a buffer now as well, because they're starting to get these rounds so rapidly and showing no signs of letting them slip. And they're doing a lot better in not losing as many men per round now as well. It's going to be very hard to close this out.
I've got to bring up a question. The pauses. We don't see them enough. We need to see them more. Radix, this is when you do just pop it out and blow their momentum. FM are getting too many rounds in a row. Arguably, it's already too late for it.
I don't reckon you're ever going to see a pause come out from Radix. Oh my god. They've done it.
They've done it.
Jesus.
They have heard our voices. They have listened. They have called a pause. Please, let this be tactical, please. I beg, just... Oh, it's technical. Not like this. We thought the world had aligned.
I was going to say, I didn't expect it. I mean, it's only really going to be Mole that will be opting them to go for the tactical pause to try and actually slow things down. But I think at this point, they're still just playing very mixed style. We're not seeing too much, actually, initiative come out from them. It just looks very odd, to be honest. It's quite slow. Obviously, lounging around.
Well, we're going to be fixing just a few things here and there, it seems. There's a couple of issues, but we're not going to be too long. We're not going to keep you here, guys, just staring at our faces. But in the meantime, what's there to say? It's been so decisive from FM. We've seen a few little rounds from Radix, but arguably some of the best gunplay I've witnessed has been from the likes of Mole with his pistol. And that's a rough thing to look at.
It's true. Obviously, big shout out to UK Masters for bringing Peter K along with me to cover the finals.
Well, just it's a win-win. Also, I'm UKCSGO apparently, so you can find me on Twitter, of course, Jackie Peters. Pleasure to be here.
The old camera reversal. It's got him there, isn't it?
It's got him.
That's goofed you.
Love it.
But yeah, hopefully we see some actual strategy coming out. Obviously, they have a lot to play with. I mean, this might be good because it will slow down the actual sort of tempo that we've been seeing building over on the side of FM. It's been round after round for them, right? So they're quite sporadic. They're very confident.
My only concern is that we've seen a lot of FM. Both of us between us have casted probably hundreds of maps of FM at this point. It's been crazy. There's these players and the various different teams and players they've kind of run under. We know that even when they're sat in a pause, if there's a team who don't falter, if there's a team who don't stop, it's them. So you are looking at, sure, the odds not being all that great. There's always a window for Radix to try and show something fresh, something different. But you can't slant it out of FM's favour. It still is right now them in control, 9-3 up. Let me ask you this. Instead of saying, Radix, they are going to step up, what do they do? You're the tactician here. You're the man with all the knowledge. I'm going to let you take the lead on this one. What should they do? What strategies do they employ? Where are you putting that AWP they've got? Where are you putting their rifles?
I mean, this is the thing, right? We've actually saw the step back where Mole was taking the AWP off of Smear, so they could play more of a slow style. He was just holding passive towards Toilets. To be honest, I want to see some confidence coming out. Give the AWP back to Smear, allow him to go more aggressive, take that fight over towards mid early, peek your way through, just try and fight back. I mean, to be honest, right now, they just look scared, like they're in a box, they've been pent up. They've got a lot of anger, but they need to display it.
For sure.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there we go.
Now.
Also, I just kind of thought I'd have a sip of water, and they're like, you know what? I'm going to show the world you're drinking some water, so I hope you guys appreciate that, of course.
You're always a thirsty guy.
Always a thirsty guy, what can I say? Double up setup, though. Let's move things away from that before we start to drip down into something we don't want to discuss. Double up setup, anything too fancy there?
Okay, this is interesting. Actually, I'm a big fan of this. Look at this. Keita's going to go for the second AWP. Keita can be unreal. I mean, he was known for his AWPing skills for quite some time. A lot of prowess with the weapon. Very, very effective. We saw him actually take a step back, more of a support player now with a rifle. But Keita on the AWP could be huge, especially on overpass, because we've seen so many fantastic things from him in the past. Let's see if it actually will affect the flow of the game here.
Slowly but surely, FM begin to move this wall in towards the connector, just pushing it further and further aside, gaining all that map control with no response coming from Radix just yet. Mole and Smooth both opting to fall back. We see just a bit of a fight coming towards Shorty. It's going to go 2-for-1 up for Radix as Roma and Jenko both do combine and get themselves those picks. But then it's the trays. Roma dropped down to just 15 HP, but somehow he's still alive. Eventually the frag grenade will land though, and Smooth, well, he can try and overwatch, but the smoke's acting as the perfect shroud. He can see nothing.
Stanley comes through. Nilzinho as well. He should have got that shot there, but Mole domes in, takes him down. That is beautiful. Let's see what they can actually do, though, on the side of FM now. It's just Fry left to try and defend that one. Very awkward round for him to close out, and obviously, as you'd expect, Smooya will shut it down. This is huge, though. Most of it actually off the back of Mole with his rifle skills. Greatly done. They will actually get that round on the board. Now, the thing is, they just need consistency. What I'm scared of is FM bite back now because they have so much money that then you see the reset come through for Radix, and they're just left broken. They might have a, they actually would have a little bit of cash to spare to get a buyout into the following one anyway, even if they lose, but it's not fantastic. You never want to be reset like that.
The last time I saw Radix play, a double upset was almost their crutch.
Yeah.
That was when they were getting these rounds. So I do kind of look at it going right now, you've been able to whip that out, you've shown us that you can win one round. Are we going to see that yet again? Is history going to begin to repeat itself? We're at 9-4. Think about it. Radix, they get their 5th. We said they needed 5 to have that fighting chance. They're starting off strong in this round, but then Keita decides, you know what? I like the Flames. I'm going to try and become one with them. My name's Summit. It's great.
Unfortunately, that's not to the Burns ward. Not a great situation to be in. It's a bit at Land Hall, not a hospital. But he will go down. Let's see what more can actually come through, though. A lot of map control has been quickly taken. Look at this. They burst their way up. They are going to reposition actually through toilets now, take the fight towards Smooya. They're going to be getting information off the back of this. And Radix, they're forced to try and reposition as well. They're quite timid. They're scared. It's just been the same style, where Weber will be actually toying with them over towards the bomb site there. Doing such a good job that it confuses everyone and brings up a tap.
Yeah, no, just got to check out, of course, how this match is ongoing. Everyone right now just going to head themselves over to UKMasters.com. They want to get all that information, right, Jackie? They're loving life. Smooya going to carry that one away for us, though, as he does just let rip with this AW. He's trying so hard to find these shots, but, mate, there's no one there. You're firing shots to a barren land at this point, as it's just going to be patience to be employed from this T side. Not really moving at all, anywhere really, only really gaining ground in towards Connector. Pulse and Stanley both beginning to make that rotate over. Nilzinho does whip out those running shoes, though, going to begin with those likes to charge out on towards water. The flash will go off, and this begins to set things up strong, but then there's the Molotov. That delays things further. That gives the information to Radix.
Roma and Jenko, though, are going to be so effective into this. They have a very nice setup. Roma as well will get the first frag, trying to get the second headshot galore. Takes down Weber crisp. Nicely done. You can see Smooya as well going to shut down Nilzinho there. Jenko will be the final man to put the nail in the coffin. Removes Pulse, and they actually link the rounds together. That is very huge. Most likely at this point, they should go on to actually get themselves a 6-9 scoreline, I believe, because this double up setup, we've only seen tidbits of it coming out. I mean, Keita got one frag into that round. It's the previous one, he didn't even actually do anything. But it's given them a lot more consistency. It slows down FM a little bit now.
I feel like it's just one simple factor. They're able to get that first pick that little bit more. Because the rounds that FM were chained together, it was always the same repetitive story. You felt you were just reading the book over and over again, which was FM get the first frag around, eventually FM will win. But now we're seeing Radix put up a genuine and real fight to take that first entry pick. And when that comes in, sure, we see FM still fight, but it switches the other direction. Talking about fights, Connector. It's going to be Smooya jumping around with this orb, trying to be ever so flare-like, but he lands that shot, a huge frag from him. And there's that man advantage.
Good job there. He actually gets that open on the board. A lot more aggressive as well. More reminiscent of what we're actually expecting to see coming out. As this push will come through back up towards the A bomb site. Stanley will lead the charge. Shots coming through, trying to do some damage on the A site. Mole is going to fall, actually. Stanley finds his headshot.
Oh.
Another frag going the way of Pulse as well. They're hungry for more. Stanley right now just trying to toy with them, firing out these pot shots to at least ward them back, force them away from the bomb site, telling them you cannot enter. They're going to try and link up as well. You see two players coming up through the stairs back on towards the A site. Front face, where we have the late round lurk coming in the rear as well with Smooya. He has the AWP, but Weber and co can just toy with him. Meanwhile, over at the barn, Pulse is finding headshots. This is a very awkward round now. Yeah,
it's all just coming down to picks at this point. FM are inching it out, and it's going to be a 1 versus 3 situation for Roma. This is really some tough shoes for him to really fill here over on towards his A site. So much to achieve, very little time. He's going to keep on sticking. He's going to try so hard with his rifle, get straight on the bomb, but Nilzinho there with the AWP decides it's done, it's over. I'm going to get that pick, and FM will secure a 10-5 half.
Huge. Nicely done there to actually bring it back to more of a manageable scoreline. I mean, it was quite scary because you look at it early game, you think, right, FM have actually locked this down very quickly. This is going to be such a dominant performance coming out from them. Then we see actually what was just a technical pause shed some light onto things. The double upset came into effect a little bit later, but I think that momentum burst actually did slow them down a little bit. They weren't able to play their more aggressive style. Coming into this pistol matchup as well, it's very hard to call how it will go, because Radix, you just look at a team that can do so much burst damage, whereas FM as well, they've got consistency with these USPs.
Seems to be the word of the hour, consistency, burst damage as well, starting to really move up in the rankings as we are going to be looking at this pistol round begin to unfold. A core stack of 3, Jenko, Mole, and Roma all bunched up just outside of Monster, ready to try and make that push through the tunnels, looking to really catch them by surprise over at this B site. As Smooya and Keita just playing a game of a bit of push and shove over on towards the A site, just rallying around a fountain somewhat, but they don't really get anything in response. It's just well, no real slap back from Radix. They're just going to wait.
It's true, they're just going to try and play it slow. Let's see what they can do. Obviously, Pulse in position when we saw Genko playing so many times, and we know how deadly this can be, especially with a crossfire setup with Nozini, but the smoke blocks him up. They don't clear the angle, though, over by Toxic. Pulse could go huge, but he's not able to do anything. Fry has to do the work, and then it's Maul to respond. That Glock reigning supreme as he bursts his way through the opposition. Keita in a sick little spot as well. Could do some prime time damage, but unfortunately won't be able to pull it out of the bag.
Oh, they hold the crossfires. Roma just chalks up another pick for him. Weber trying to respond, lands himself a bit close to a headshot Fry as well. Similar sort of affair for him, a bit of a struggle, but does land it on towards Roma bit by bit, making things harder and harder. But Smooya, well, he tried and failed. Fry will take him down. It's a round on the border, pistol round for FM. This is huge. You can't understate this. Think about it right now. They get themselves up on towards their 11. Really accelerates things.
It's true. This puts them in a scenario where if they actually go through to collect the second 2 rounds, this will put them with 13 rounds as a buffer before Radix have anything to really try and respond with. It's going to slow them down as well so much, they won't be able to really get that AWP out. They're going to need to try and keep getting these bombs down. I mean, the thing is, they can actually buy back the round after this because they got the bomb planted, so at least they have some extra cash, but it's still going to be hard before they get any consistency behind that roster. Very, very scary premise. And look at this, though. FM so heavy on the UMP investment. Could come back to bite them if they actually get caught off guard. Tech9s and Eagles, powerhouses in close range.
They also want to make that money. Think about the pros and the cons there. Sure, I agree with you, there's a risk, but where there's risk, there is reward. As these fights do begin to set themselves up, a few angles here and there that are going to be left unchecked, but ones that won't really cause, well, too much of a problem, as it is going to be a fairly timid push coming in from Radix right now, with these pistols just going very one by one, allowing Pulse to mow down, gets himself the double kill. Weber going to look for a little bit more through the smoke, hearing all of these steps. He's set up to pretty much just have the cherry on top in this round. As he swindles around, will get that pick. Genko running away, and just by a slither escapes with his life, but not for long, because Fry with the M4. Well, this is an easy pick for him. Simple stuff, FM. Their 12th round.
Big, as we work our way back through. Nicely done. Rebuys coming out because there were a couple of casualties over on the side of FMs. They are going to get those UMPs back into effect now. Nozinho debating what he wants to go for, because obviously he wants to just light invest. Actually full invest. I thought he was just going to go for more of a light investment there so we get the AWP out. But not too bothered.
They just want to close this at this point. They're thinking to themselves, alright, we've got distance on our side. We've walked 100 more miles than Radix have right now. We are the ones in control. So let's not risk it by saving a little bit. Let's just go into this one guns blazing, win our battles, and do the job. Smooya deciding, you know what, who needs Keita? I'm just going to end him out of this round. Not quite sure how that happened, but it looked tough.
Oh, that's awkward as well. That can definitely cause some internal turmoil with the team. Let's see how this will unfold now as they slam their way in towards this B-bomb site, hoping to burst their way through. Stanley, prime angle, peeks out so sneaky as he gets the opening frag back on towards Roma. You can see these Ts now as well. They're paranoid. They're not too sure where the rest of the CTs are actually going to be coming from as they try and hold their angles. Weber will be coming in from the rear. You've got Pulse up on short, spamming through the smoke, but Smooya actually peeks in. Smooya can get him off guard here. He's caught with his pants now, and the frag will come through. This is quite detrimental now. Leaves it all on Weber, the clutch master.
It's Weber, though. You said he was the clutch master, and he begins it. Slams on with that first pick, as he mentioned. The brakes are going to go down as he drops the smoke towards short. Smooya slips him from behind, finds the frag with the AK-47. And Radix, they come back in surprise. They get themselves that round.
You can see the Weber shrugging it off at this point. Not bothered at all, because they do have money to play with. Yeah, they actually had enough. I mean, Weber saved enough here. So if he wants to drop that over to Nozinho, he can. Depending on his spawn, though, he might just actually go for a straight-up pick, just try and use the aggression. He has armor as well. It's not even glass cannon, so it's not that risky. He can try and take this fight through and see if he can get an opening frag early. And it seems like the stars have aligned a little bit here as well.
Trying to hear out a few little bit of steps here and there. Knows the Molotov does come in. That gives a little bit of information for this CT side to try and play with. As it is going to be Mole and Jenko right now to group up towards long. They're looking to make sure if they find this pick, they can set themselves out on the right foot forward. But it's all about information too. They're trying to work out what FM are adopting in this round. Is it the same old default? Where can they really attack towards? Smooya living up to that somewhat, but he wins that fight. Gets himself the 1 versus 1, takes down Fry.
So much long control, though, has been taken by the side of Radix. Pulse is going to be the only one to really try to ward them off. He's shown just how effective of a janitor he can be, as he's been cleaning them up over towards toilets, but he will just back off in the meantime. Weber, scoped in, spotted out a bit of a leg as well. This gives him more information into the round.
Bit of thigh isn't going to change too much, though. Just waiting to see the rest of things get uncovered. So he is going to be there with the rifle to start to let rip down towards the bottom door of Connector. As Pulse with the USP starts to see if he can use his sidearm to make anything too trusty happen. Finally makes a smart decision, whips out the UMP, but he is stuck between a rock and a hard place. Finds one, but to find any more here is surely impossible, as Radix will just jump on in, looking for that movement. that hopping around as Nilzinho trying to save things, but this is just so much of an ask.
Nilzinho now trying to find these frags and just bobs and weaves. He knows he's got to try and get that defuse. Stanley could be a very critical member of the team though. Get the drop on anyone, but unfortunately Roma was able to tick behind him, get into the back line, find the frag. Now Nilzinho just has to save as well. He doesn't want to go for empty-handed into the following round. And we expected this to potentially happen because Radix, they got that bomb down so many times, meaning they just had good cash to play with. It's quite scary how much economy they had to play with going into this round.
Problem is, you said it yourself, Weber shrugged off that previous round. This is not something you can just forget. It has a long-lasting effect on your economy, at least in the next few rounds. In terms of where they go from this, they're going to have to sit down and relax for a second. It has to be this slow pistol-based play. That does sort of present things in towards Radix's favor. You start to look at them going, it's 12-7. Start to build things up. We are looking at a close matchup yet again. Things have started to really, get flown up in the air.
It's true. It's really going to be a change of pace, I mean, overall, when you look at things here. So FM at this point really knocked back. They're not in the driving seat anymore. It's only Nilzinho that has that UMP, the rest of them with an awkward buy, but this means they're going to go fairly fast, you'd imagine. Shock and All-Star CS for a spanner in the works. They have to do something drastic, as they're not going to win this out playing it like a normal gun round. Nilzinho attempts to kick it off. A lot of damage has been thrashed out from him. Look how low the players on the side of Radix are. These pistols could be so effective now. There's a chance they could actually pull this one back because they fire out a hailstorm of bullets over through short, trying to find any lucky frags. They will hear that bomb going down. Stanley is so close to getting that opening kill, but can't quite find it.
Mole, a crucial play here. Any sort of chance that FM have, Mole is about to just completely run away with it. As it will be a 1-for-1 trade. Mole, in fact, not doing as much as we expected, but even then, Smooya can just fill that position up and make sure they don't get too damn close. Radix, sure, they lose a lot of players in the process, but a round win right now is looking off the cards. Weber going to try and play with time on his side. They need 10 seconds, bear in mind, for this defuse. He begins to gear it up with the 5-7, takes the fight. Keita knocks him down. A game of bowling for him. As Pole's going to search for that final pin, but it's not anywhere near that site. It's anywhere but as he runs off into the distance, scrambling around the floor, looking to make sure he gets the maximum he can out of this round, which an AK-47, he'll take that.
Yeah, I mean, the Kalashnikov in his back pocket for the next one could be very effective. As in terms of economy, it's going to be good, right? It's healthier now. They will buy up around this. Not really any money to go for the AWP buy, though. They're kind of hindered on that. It would be very risky, so it's going to work their way back through. Pulse working out what he is going to do, yeah. Drops over the M4 as you'd expect. The utility buy comes back through. Everyone's happy. But meanwhile, Radix, the AWP over on Smooya. This is where we need to see more consistency from Radix, though. Sure, you've done the hard part. You've got a couple of rounds. You have to keep linking them together. You can't fall every time FM throw a hurdle. Fast play is going to be the order of the day as they push their way down through here in towards water. But the trades go in favor of Radix.
It's a lot of damage to be done, but at the end of the day, it does eke things out in favor of Radix. As you mentioned, Nilzinho going to try and hold down this B site as this push does come in, but it's going to be a tough task. He's very much out on a limb at this point, all alone in this situation. Needs some support coming in from the rest of his team. As at least Radix, they do slow it down for him. They give him a bit more of a chance to allow that player to get in towards Graffiti. That being Weber, of course. But Nilzinho, the problem is playing so close to pillar like this, he can try and dive around it, sure, but when that push does come in, he's going to fall. But somehow he's still standing. This is madness from him, getting these headshots, sealing this one out. Smooya now, all alone from this monster bush, completely changes things.
It's true, just tucked off, holding back. Will Molotov over. This is actually going to force him out of position, so it makes their lives slightly easier, as Nilzinho has to reposition to place a little bit more out in the open. Just going to sit over by water. Actually not too bad, as Weber's on the scene, so he can complement him.
Gets better and better by the second. We thought things were all but about to go wrong. Pillar, not a fateful angle, but instead we were surprised. Nilzinho comes up check with 2 double kills, back-to-back headshots. Now he's hungry for more. Wanted to sink his teeth in towards Smooya. The boy in pink shorts, he's there with the AWP trying to find this shot, peeking out here and there, just somewhat trying to make it work. A flash to support him, but still no fight, still no battle. But there's the flick, finds the first Weber, instant response, snaps on towards Keita, making it harder and harder. The crosshair of Weber locked onto him through the smoke. The tag is found. Smooya, a double kill with a Tech 9!
Huge, massive round there. 3K on the ball for Smooya, closed it out. Absolutely ridiculous that he's been able to pull that one out of the bag. Now this really hinders things as well. That's a massive economy hit taken to the side of FM, because they just should have closed that one out. It never should have got to that situation.
I'd love to see that from Smooya's point of view, honestly, because they must have lined up to him or something crazy there with a Tech 9, some wild flick. Just really quite something, but that right there is why he's Smooya. He does those things that no one can expect. Graham's going to be sitting there right now on the LSPC going, how on earth did this go wrong? How on earth did I not predict this? Well, you can't. It's impossible. This guy always just wipes up with these quick, dynamic plays. 9-12, a big round for them too. As Radix, yet again, they control the economy. FM still sat on these pistols.
It's true, when he's not delaying games, he's missing kills. Let's see how this frag will go, though. Smooth, the push coming towards him. He is going to actually miss, though. Just shoots into the wall. Pulse takes him down with that CZ. Jenko will be a hard fight, though. He's a little bit of a bigger fish to fry, and he can fight back and take down the Chef in Pulse.
Slow and steady, wins the race. Radix, no need to be too risky here.
There you go. Smart stuff actually on display from Jenko. Even you get rid of the AWP, because if FM push their way through, they might be able to scavenge it. If they know where it was, it would be left behind. So at the very least, they would have got an AK or something from that by pushing down in towards Playground. It's very clever, commonly used there. They will back off though. Still trying to take the map control. More so than anything, they just have to play this round slow, split and pick, basically just take those range fights. You know you can win aim battles from a distance, as FM just don't have anything to work with. They've just got pistols.
P250 and Nilzino is going to play up close and personal. Will drop Roma, which actually does have a bit of an effect. Kita is going to be there to support them, and bit by bit things just get pretty damn good for Radix. 3 quick frags, in fact. But leaves just Weber there with the final pistol. There you have it, Radix going to do the job. 10-12. Things are closer. And the big thing about this now is we get to that point where FM, it's not necessarily do or die, but it's time to show us something different. They've opted for the double AWP setup. This is what Radix, well, it's what enabled them to get this far into this matchup, pretty much making that first half happen, really. So for FM employing the same style of tactic, are we going to see the same thing?
Definitely so. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities with that because that AWP setup is actually so effective. I mean, it depends on what sort of style of CS you want to play with it, though. Are you going to go aggressive? Are you going to hold sort of more contact angles, just situate yourself in towards long, maybe one towards B, and just hold back for the push to come to you? I mean, Weber played a little bit aggressive into the early round. Now he's actually probably going to fall back. Pulse is just playing for audio cues here, as they're so close to him. Pulse, if he does this, most likely will be traded off. Actually doesn't even get the trade. Jenko just swipes him down. Sick opening shot on the board there now. Leaves him in a 4 versus 5 that doesn't really favor them too much. The smoke will go back through to once again just try and ward off Radix. Nilzino close, but no cigar.
Unfortunately, doesn't quite land the shot. Smooth, in fact, going to begin to do more and more work as he just takes Weber for all he's worth. Nilzino starts to fill the ranks back up towards his A site. The push is coming thick and fast. He's got to be able to land these shots with the ADP. Can't afford to miss, but he unscopes at the worst time. Repeats gets one, but a quick trade from Jenko pretty much shuts down this round from even happening now as FM. They've got to go for this retake. 50 seconds on the clock. Stanley trying to deny that plant. Swings on towards the site. They line up for him, but he's too late on the trigger. Caught with 4 players in his crosshairs. Smooth, the final man to find a pick. Radix, 11-12, one closer.
So you have a pause coming in as well, actually. This time a tactical pause from FM. We've also expected, if we were going to see pauses actually coming out throughout this, that it would be on the side of FM. Because obviously this is the thing, they kind of have things like with Mole where they can try and break things down, at least get some strategy in there and try and close it out a little bit. Switch up the style of play. More so discuss actually what is going wrong with things, is that was quite a big risk factor. Go for that double up setup. When that doesn't work, you're kind of like, damn, what do we actually work with off the back of this? Because we've invested so heavily into that round, I have nothing to show for it.
It's very much you're sitting there at the poker table, you go all in with your chips, and then you just look like a bit of a fool when it all goes wrong and you lose a hand. Then where do you go? Well, right back to the cashier, you check in again, you have to go all over from round 1 in effect. Now, whether that's map 2, that's a very big push, and I think that's something we can't lean towards. But whether it means this matchup can go the likes of 14-14, 15-50, and are we going to see the fateful overtime with these two teams? That's something you can draw towards, because things are closer and closer right now, but Radix, they're very much in control. It feels like they're the ones pulling the strings behind FM.
It's true. It's a lot different to what we actually expected as well at the start of the game.
Yeah.
And, I mean, especially coming into this, we thought if there was going to be a map they'd show up on, it would be Overpass, because both of these teams enjoy playing it, and it's also kind of the Smooth and Kita battlefield, right? Yeah. It's like where all of them play, they're all very happy. It was the map as well that XL actually took the close scoreline with Heroic on, so it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense for sure, and I think we've also seen just better performances across the board from all of the players, really. We've seen, sure, a few whiffs, and that's expected, but for the most part, it's been fairly solidifying play from the likes of Radix, from the likes of Smooth, Smooth was a player you specifically spotlighted at the start of the game, saying you weren't sure how he was going to perform in Overpass, how he was going to do with the AWP.
Because he is quite inconsistent. I mean, I don't think that's unfair to say, especially what we saw towards the end of the UK Masters as well with the online season. He was struggling quite heavily. I mean, we saw him better performance with a rifle than he did with the AWP, especially when the AWP's like his prolific weapon that he's known for. You know, it's kind of sad to see that actually coming into effect there. Definitely did, hinder them towards the end of the season.
Yeah, for sure. It's something that always comes into play, but at the end of the day, online CS is just that. It is online. These guys right now, they are playing online. You can see them right there sitting in front of the monitors, getting themselves comfortable, ready to go back into things. As things are just going to get themselves all sorted out. I think we are very much nearly ready. I think nearly ready is
Bringing
probably the
out
more
those
apt way.
earbuds.
Yeah, just whipping out those earbuds, trying to find them in his headset right now, just apparently letting them fall away. Is that the thing that can happen?
Getting all the water off them.
Yeah.
Nice. Good stuff.
There you go, the unpause does come in, and that means only one thing. We are going to be going live into this matchup yet again. The first map of our grand finale, of course, Radix versus FM. 12-11 is the scoreline if you have just joined us. And Radix right now, they are looking to finally stamp down FM, get themselves equal in this matchup 12-12, and from there they want that victory. For now, their response, well, FM, back to the land of pistols still. Just these CZs and 5.7s.
Yeah, I mean, not really too much front to play with, so it makes sense they're going to try skimp and then get a buyout into the following round where it is actually a little bit closer. Obviously, that's going to be equalised scoreline though at that point, so it's quite scary. Because then we get into the region of Radix possibly propelling themselves towards 14 rounds very quickly if they actually do let that following round slip away. But let's see how it will go. They try and lock it down early, taking that fight over towards Connector, but no one's really there. Everyone's actually backed off. It is going to be Smooth close by, but he's just scoped in with the AWP, hoping to see if anyone peeks. Then he'll find those easy frags as he now makes his descent in. Scoped in. Doesn't actually go for a pot shot just yet, but will find one in the end. Does remove Pulse from the equation, and then just immediately backs off. But all of this time, it's been a lampooning. It's been an elaborate ruse, and the A bomb site is being encroached upon.
Yeah, bit by bit, we see just more and more manpower invest itself in towards A long. They haven't been too quick, though, which does mean that FM can kind of readjust and get themselves in a shot where, you know what, they can fight. But just because you can swing a punch doesn't mean it's actually going to do anything.
It's true, you might miss. That'd be a massive shame. He'll be a very good boxer. Well, just Stanley kicks it off though as he finds the opening frag back on towards Mole. There's Nilzinho as well doing damage. Weber, as he peeks up, says hello, takes down Roma and tries to back off, hungry for more. Fry in the rear with a gear, but can he go large and in charge, or will Smooya be able to smite him down? Has the angle cover, Tech 9, prime down, ready, easy headshot as he will pick him off. Starts to back off as well to try and aid his teammates. Weber, it is all on him to do the unthinkable, and he is struggling right now. The shots are peltering all over the opposition, but he can't quite find the frags.
The call comes in, just back off. Don't let him take you 1 versus 1. He will run away with it. He'll make a laugh out of you. So instead, just fall back. They're trying to basically convert it into an impossible situation. You don't want to be tapping with a 5.7 at that sort of range after all. So it is the rifle to eventually mop things up, just move things along nice and smoothly. Is there you have it, that equalization point. The double-up setup to be reinvested from FM. Doubling down on a play that already has failed them once. If it does it again, that's a lot of money to lose.
Yeah, they've bet their house at this point. They're going to go bankrupt, folks. It's not going to be good.
Addiction is a dangerous thing, Jackie. You've got to be careful.
When the fun stops, stop.
There you have it, folks.
Into this round, though. Let's see how it will actually boil down. What is going to be left after the all-out warfare will kick off. Pulse early, just throwing some nades out. Basically just using that utility to try and disperse them a little bit, slow them down, not really allow Radix to take too much map control early. He just wants to make his presence known. Make sure they're aware that someone has aggressive control towards toilets. But they're going to be trying to brute force it. They start banging on the door as they take their way through party. Absolutely rude that they've ruined all the nice food there.
Yeah, really just unfortunate, right? They paid so much money to get that all sorted out. The balloons were up and everything, and then they just thought, you know what, I'm just going to go through and pop them. It's just, well, very rude of them just to traps around and make a bit of a mess of everything, as we are going to be looking at Weber just trying to get a bit of revenge for that with the AWP pulse still handling not very close and personal with this M4, but Radix, there's just been no-shows at this point.
I mean, they even forgot to bring the clown to party and Smooth towards the B site.
Very disappointing stuff. Come on, Smooth, up your game. You've got to get that costume on. Show us what you're made of over on towards long right now. This is late.
Nilzinho, the other AWP that is in the server, with his main man Weber, just posted up, waiting for the peaks to come their way. I mean, this is a very slow A-take. But one of the slower rounds we've seen actually coming out from Radix here, and they have a lot of utility still to work with. Basically going to draw a line of sight, draw blocks of lines, smokes across the site that will divide it into two halves so they can try and take it a little bit easier. This relies quite heavily on Weber and Co to do the damage here, but he will get the opening frag. Nilzinho as well. The double AWP setup coming in massively right now. Mole is trying to fight his way back through, but they're just taking steady peaks now and then, just ducking and weaving. They know they have the advantage into this. They outnumber them 2-1. This is a good situation to be in. Roma will arrive hoping to find some frags, but it's just not working out. Mole, smart stuff though, as he glides his way through the smoke, gets away with the plant. Oh, so close, but he actually gets struck down there by Fry.
It's incredible that he goes for that though. He realizes what's important in that scenario. He goes, all right, you know what, the round is done, it's over, I know I've lost this, but what can I do to make something out of it? I can get that plant and try and save our economy. That's really, really good from him. Unfortunately, sure, it doesn't quite happen, and they still can have a fair bit to play with, bear in mind. It's just him trying to play a bit more of the longer game, which is smart.
It was close as well. Very, very down to the mark there. Could have been a completely different scoreline if we saw things slightly altered. Now then, push coming back towards that big bomb site, you'd imagine, into this round. Going to be a slow communicated attack as Radix get a bit dizzy.
Just having a bit of a spin. Clearly just rocking out on the bikes, of course. Out in the gym right now, just trying to stretch those legs.
Flashbangs will come through, though, to try and disperse any up-close personal CTs. They have sort of given themselves up a little bit as well. The shenanigans should be caught out. As that flashback goes over, they push in towards the site here. They're going to realise it's completely open as soon as they clear those angles. They'll still have to play it slow and use a lot of utility because they don't know right now. But then it's going to be Fry and Stanley to hold a crossfire from shore. They could be able to pick them off very easily, especially when Nilzinho is on the scene now in that elevated angle, hammering down from up top.
The fact he lands those shots too is just that little bit more important now. It's all well and good to be there, but isn't Overwatch really useful if it can't do anything at all? Jenko starts to really rally the troops with that pick. Nilzinho waiting, bites his tongue, and when he snaps back, does so much. A double kill for him right now as he looks for even more. Triple on the cards at this point as Mole and Smooya, the last two remaining. Mole trying to swing towards shot, will push right through into the arms of Fry. Somehow still standing with a double of his own as he keeps on pushing. Nilzinho now on the scene with the AWP, treating it like a shotgun as he barrels on forward. Smooya, he lands the shot as well, leading it down to a 2 versus 1 Weather on the site, sure, but what can he do here? Trying to take the fight up against two players that are running away from him, distracting him towards short as he looks to stick this bomb, throwing him Molotov in the smoke. It is over. Mole, Smooya both will win that round for Radix right now. An incredible round like that. So important that they get away with it.
Nilzinho leading by example as well, with 23 frags under his belt. Everyone else basically neck and neck. They're all sitting on 17 and 18 frags, probably the only one with a one frag difference. That's pretty crazy. It's actually been so close. It's fairly expected what we're actually seeing over on the side of Radix. I mean, he's got around 9 frags on the board, but he's the support player. It doesn't really matter too much if he's popping individually. But you can see the rest of his teammates are doing very well. Everyone's playing fantastically right now over on the side of Radix. It's been looking good. Let's see if they can keep it up because, as I was saying, this is where they get into that sort of danger zone. This 14th round will be secured fairly easily. We know FM can't win these ecos.
Things are closer and closer. Predictions starting to already lean themselves out of the window. As it is just pistols, as you mentioned, a fight that's always going to be tough, but I'm looking at this map right now and going, all right, you know, CZs, close range angles. We could be seeing at least something here at a start. A singular pick, make that a second for Nilzinho. Now he pops in with a reload, looks for a third, doesn't quite get the headshot though, and that's where things fall apart. The P250 going to try and fill the ranks, but that's a bit of a disaster. Even Weber with a deagle. But they don't check their corners. Don't make rookie mistakes now, T-side. Get yourself in this one, Radix. Roma doing just that.
Here comes Fry though, who will eventually arrive as he gets unfrozen, ready to try and do some damage here in the future. Will peek his way out. Brave transfer, but not too much really. Radix do come out on top. Nilzinho had a good showing with that CZ, but it's just a shame that they really couldn't put it together. I mean, if he would have had more players close by to support him, potentially do a little bit more work, it fell down to the fact they couldn't recover any of the weapons as well. They didn't really trade there towards the end of it, but you can't expect too much. It was just a round that should have always gone in favour of Radix. They did a very good job of actually forcing out at least some rebuys. Mobile's economy isn't fantastic. So coming into this, if FM can try and bite back here, it could be quite deadly. They've got a very heavy investment. The only thing is Stanley's on the UMP.
Flash is going to go off. Fry already trying to toy with the idea of a quick aggressive peek. Pulse as well, going to find himself yet again smoked off time and time again. It's the same old utility usage coming out from this T side, but it works for them. But ain't broke, don't fix it. As it is going to be patience right now to be employed. Fry not trying to force the issue or anything, but more than anything, just wanting to get the information of what exactly Radix are doing. Are they running towards connector and making a lot of noise up close and personal, giving away the idea they could be moving towards A? It's all about just allowing FM to try and visualize this map so they know how to try and respond. And you can see that just coming in with the Molotovs and the flashes and such that FM are now throwing in response to that.
It's very slow, Miriam Methodical. This is a lot more structure. This is more like what I expected to see coming out from Mole when he's trying to actually lead a unit in a team style of CS. So this is pretty good. They're going to be backing off now, making their approach over away from the B-bomb site. Could go for a monster burst here, as they have a lot of utility to work with as well. Try and zone them out. Go for the pincer push in towards the site. The only thing is, Fry, a prime time angle to try and do some work, but he struggles. Jenko with a peek, fabulous. Stanley can fire back and claim 2 of his own, but it is not enough for Smooya will retaliate. But Smooya's on 1 HP to take a single shot to take him down, and Weber is a mean machine. He's close by on the scene. Pulse though doing damage as he finds the frag back on towards Smooya. Weber trying to connect the shots over towards Keita, but they're allowed to stay alive for this brief period.
Molotov a smart play, but even then at this point things are looking rougher and rougher by the second, coming down to 15 seconds now. This T-side have got a bomb. Keita jumps up, goes for the elevated. Mole with a quick flick on towards Pulse, but Nilzinho starts to fire away with this M4A4, finds himself that pick, and leads things full circle to a 1 versus 1. The bomb will go down. We have ourselves a fight on our hands as Mole with the AWP wins this one for Radix. They get themselves to 15 rounds as this one goes 1 away from Radix claiming their first map in this grand finale.
ludicrous as well. I mean, when you look at the economy here, absolutely wild this has gone down like this, because FM have nothing to play with. They're very, very much broken. And this is absolutely crazy. 9 on a flawless half. They've only been able to claim 3 rounds. If you remember, we looked at a 10-5 half. This has been 10 rounds secured at this point by Radix, which is just wild to think about. Now then, by coming back into effect, you can see it's 3 pistols in play. Luckily, they do have a fair bit of utility to at least slow down Radix, but they're going to be struggling in terms of their arsenal. They're going to be struggling to actually find the kills to pick them off.
Sure, we've seen some finesse with these CZs. We've seen something nice with these pistols, but is it enough? Pulse diving through the smoke, trying to worm his way out of this dodgy situation, gets himself a pick, but it's just a straight back trade. Weber now getting himself a shot back inside. Smooya, the man to do the job, having a quick shave as Roma and Mol both fall back. Radix, they've got time on their side. They've got manpower on their side, weaponry on their side. What don't they have at this point?
It's true. It's been crazy how this is actually going. Leaves them in a 3 versus 3 though. Still a lot on the cards. Potential that FM could actually try and keep themselves alive. Maybe claw it back towards that overtime scenario. As the play will be made towards the A site, you can see everyone else set themselves up towards B, sorry, as they make their play through. Struggling with the door right now, just trying to get that open, make some presence as they peek out and try and slip their way through. Fry is there, CZ locked and loaded, but he's the first port of call.
CZ. This is quite a long-range battle too, bear in mind, which, yet again, I want to repeat the fact that we've seen good stuff with these pistols, but it's such a tough ask, and Roma just straight off the bat leads the charge, and just basically whacks him around the face with the end of Kalashnikov there, just leaving things up pretty much done and dusted at this point. Nilzinho, the last man left, and that is that one done and dusted. Radix, they will get themselves these picks, and most importantly, Jackie, they get that first map.